What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. I am rolling out daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout the whole summer transfer window through June, July and August here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Going to keep you guys up to date here with my daily Manchester City transfer updates. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Sofascore. Sofascore are going to be keeping you guys up to date with all the latest football scores ahead of the European Championships, ahead of Copa America, and they're also going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest scores across all the sports that you guys all love to follow, all in one place, all in one app. It's a free app to download, very highly rated. It does help to support the future content created here on my channel through downloading the free Sofascore app. The link is in the description. Alternatively, you can use the QR code on screen, which will take you to the download page to download the free Sofascore app. So, going to crack on with this video. We're going to start off with the outs. We've got the very latest on Lewis Fiorini now. Manchester City youngster Fiorini, he looks set to leave the club on a permanent basis. That's according to Peter O'Rourke. He's set to sign for Stockport County in League One on a permanent basis. So when that transfer is confirmed, of course, I will wish Lewis the very best of luck there. But seeing a top-class academy lad leaving Manchester City. Now, moving on, we've got the very latest on Maximo Perrone, and he's given an update on his future, and he said that there is an agreement with Manchester City that he is going to spend another season out on loan in La Liga before heading back to Manchester City. He says it will be his second and final season out on loan. Of course, he spent last season on loan in La Liga with Las Palmas, so I'm wondering where in La Liga he's going to be spending his second season out on loan there. I reckon if Savio ends up staying with Manchester City rather than being loaned to Girona, then I can see potentially Girona maybe taking Maximo Perrone from Manchester City for the season on loan. Had a good spell with Las Palmas, good experience for him, so hopefully City can get that loan move right once more for Maximo Perrone, and potentially then he could be pushing for at least a squad player, maybe even pushing towards the first team squad, depending on how he does with another season of European football under his belt. Now, moving on, we've got the very latest on Joao Cancelo. An MD over in Spain have said that Barcelona have declared to Manchester City that they want Joao Cancelo on loan for another season this summer. Manchester City have told Joao Cancelo's agent, Jorge Mendes, that they want a permanent deal, not a loan transfer, but they're dragging their heels pretty much in Cancelo's camp, doing what they did last summer, which is offers are on the table. They're on the table again for this summer as well. Joao Cancelo is going to say no to all of these offers, and he's going to say, I'm going to stay at Man City. I'm happy to train with the reserves. You're going to be paying me my wage. There's not a lot that Manchester City can do about this unless you sanction my move that I'm looking for, which is my loan move to Barcelona. So City are going to have to negotiate hard to get a good loan fee from Barcelona to ensure that Barcelona are paying his wage as well. So Manchester City, they have to be careful with the Joao Cancelo transfer. It's a very messy transfer. Yeah, less said, the better. Moving on, anyway, we've got the very latest on Sergio Gomez, and AS over in Spain have said that Sergio Gomez is now close to leaving Manchester City. Real Sociedad are confident that they can close out negotiations with City to sign Sergio Gomez on loan with a purchase option. Talks have been satisfactory is the word that's been used, so talks have gone okay. They've gone maybe as well as what Sociedad thought they could go with City, because City would prefer a permanent transfer to a loan transfer. They've said to Sociedad, you've got to convince us that Sergio Gomez should be loaned out rather than sold permanently. Apparently Gomez has got offers on the table, but he has asked Manchester City that he wants to leave the club and he wants to sign for Real Sociedad. That's the key here, and that's probably going to tip this more in Real Sociedad's favour. And it's looking like Sergio Gomez will leave Manchester City this summer and he will sign for Real Sociedad on loan, as I said, with a purchase option, which will be an option to buy. Now, moving on to the ins, we were speaking yesterday about Douglas Luiz. Got the very latest on him, and after being linked yesterday, Juventus, they're looking like the club that are going to take the former Manchester City man away from Aston Villa. Michael Plant has said that there is a 20% sell-on fee included in there. Remember, that applies to any deal that's over £15 million. So if he gets sold, for example, for £50 million, then it would be that profit of £35 million where the 20% sell-on fee is included. 20% of £35 million would be £7 million, which is why I was saying yesterday that Douglas Luiz would cost Manchester City £43 million rather than the £50 million that Arsenal were getting linked with Douglas Luiz, which is where these rumours were coming from. Sources have got a little bit mixed up. It happens, the transfer window, and Douglas Luiz is not going to be signing for Manchester City. I feel like that ship has already sailed when we had that purchase option included to bring him back to the club with the buyback clause. We didn't take up that option, and so it's very much just looked like a case where Douglas Luiz eventually leaves Aston Villa for profit and Man City take 20% of that profit that has been made, which is what's going to happen now. Juventus have been pretty smart, beating Arsenal to the punch here. A lot has to do with PSR and restraining clubs. That's why the transfer window is so quiet right now. I'm expecting after June 30th for the transfer window really to get going, with clubs allowed to start spending their money, their budget, what they're allowed in the summer. They can't do it in June, but they can do it in July. So that is what's going to happen. And Juventus stolen a march on City, definitely stolen a march on Arsenal, and they're going to nab Douglas Luiz instead. It's thought that it's going to be a swap deal involving some cash and players. So Weston McKennie and Samuel Illing Jr. are going to join Aston Villa, and in exchange, Juventus are going to get Douglas Luiz, as well as Juventus paying €20 million. So we're looking at just shy of £20 million. So we're looking at a £5 million profit. So we're looking at 20% of that. Let's say it is £5 million. Then Manchester City would be looking at £1 million in what's being gained here. Again, sources are getting mixed up. Some are saying it's 20% sell-on fee included in the overall fee, so 20% of the £20 million, which would be £4 million, and then others are saying it's 20% of the profit, which would be £1 million. But whatever's going to happen here, Man City are going to get some money into their account, which we're not going to turn our nose up. But yeah, looking like Douglas Luiz is going to Juventus from Aston Villa. Now, moving on to the final transfer, I want to speak about Diogo Costa back in the headlines. I've been speaking about City potentially wanting to make a move, and it has very much been Man City scouting and having a nosy, but we've not actually had any reliability put onto the story until today. Ojogo in Portugal have confirmed that Man City are one of numerous clubs having a look at Diogo Costa of FC Porto. So he's a goalkeeper. This would be a transfer that only gets done should Ederson communicate to Manchester City that he wants to leave the club. Man City would then need a new goalkeeper. It was unclear as to whether City wanted to promote Stefan Ortega as our first choice goalkeeper and look for a second choice goalkeeper, or if we wanted to spend big and bring in a first choice keeper, and him and Stefan Ortega would be competing for that number one position for Manchester City, which is what we've got right now with Ederson and Stefan Ortega. And it's very much looking like City are looking towards the latter, with Maignan over at AC Milan being linked, and obviously Costa at FC Porto being linked with Man City. These are not going to want to sign for City and become second choice. City aren't going to be spending millions on these players to bring them in for them to sit on the bench. It would be seen as the first choice keeper, and Ortega providing that competitive competition for them. And so Diogo Costa is a player that is of interest to Manchester City. He does have that release clause. FC Porto are pointing towards that release clause of €75 million, which means if Ederson is sold, I imagine City will be looking to try and get probably north of £50 million. So that takes a good chunk of that Diogo Costa deal, along with a couple of sales of the young players that will leave this summer, and net spend isn't a problem there. So Diogo Costa is an option, an expensive option, but is an option. Remember, 24 years old, you're going to get a good, 8 to 10 years, even more so, out of him. So it is investment that is worthwhile for Manchester City, and Costa is a good shot stopper. He's good with his distribution. He's a brilliant goalkeeper, a good option. Ideally, you'd want to be spending a little bit less than a high premium of around £70 million. But, you know, transfer markets, it is what it is. As soon as Ederson gets sold, Man City come sniffing for any goalkeeper. All clubs are going to be putting price tags on their players and then adding an extra £10 million because Man City are interested and Man City need a goalkeeper. So City may want to look towards release clauses, and if that is the case, that's where Costa has the advantage over Maignan. I do believe that Maignan will be a cheaper alternative to Diogo Costa though, so which avenue does City want to go down? We'll have to wait and see, but very interesting when it comes to goalkeepers, and as I said, at last had a bit of reliability put on the Diogo Costa deal. So there we go, that has been today's transfer update. As I said, if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester City transfer news every single day here on YouTube, make sure you have subscribed to my channel. It is free. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below, and finally do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Sofascore. And I'll see you guys tomorrow religiously for the next daily Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.